Okay, so something happened while I was recording chapter 6. I had gone past parts 1 and 2, but then halfway through part 3, my phone decided to malfunction and I had to restart it. So, the game saved my point and I can't go back past part 3. So, instead, I'm not going to start the whole story over again just to get those two parts. So I'm just gonna, it's pretty simple what happened in those two parts that I missed or that got lost. So basically, what happened was so Kyle saved Alice from the Bandersnatch, and she's still pretty wary of him, and he brought her to Alice's house, which is where she is meant to stay. And yeah, that's basically where it leaves off, so we can continue from there.
I know what you're thinking. Kyle's expression was filled with sadness when he looked at me with those amethyst-colored eyes. But I wish you would believe me. I eagerly looked forward to your arrival. I enjoyed the time we spent together. That's the truth. A lot of good that does me. The words Kyle spoke now, along with his actions up until now, the conversation I overheard earlier, were all jumbled together in my mind, and I couldn't find it in me to say anything. I only lied to you because I didn't want to hurt you. Then tell me why. I looked directly at Kyle, and my words were pleading. But he only shook his head slowly as a dark shadow fell over his features. Now is not the time. Tonight, you need to rest. Kyle reached out awkwardly and touched my chin. Suddenly, he brought his face closer and tried to kiss me. What? As soon as I realized his intention, what do you think you're doing? I slapped Kyle's cheek with all my might. Kyle made no move to avoid the palm of my hand. Instead of being surprised or angry, he was grinning. As soon as I saw his expression, I realized what he was trying to do. Are you feeling any better now? I'm not sure if you could call it better. I prefer seeing you angry than seeing you wallowing in misery. Kyle sported his trademark smile and spoke in a gentle voice. Until a moment ago, I couldn't find any words, and all I could do was listen to Kyle as he spoke. But now I found I could speak just fine. I was startled by the instant change. As frustrating as it was, his little stunt had the desired effect. Mitchie. What? Kyle's smile suddenly widened, and he ducked to close the distance between us and planted a quick kiss on my cheek. You haven't learned your lesson at all, have you? Ha ha ha. Sorry about that. It was only meant as a parting gesture. Kyle smiled and put distance between us as I raised my hands in warning. You won't be able to rest knowing the person who deceived you is close by, will you? So, good night. He smiled somewhat sadly and gave a little wave before disappearing into the night. Let's see. Left alone in front of the house, I heaved a weary sigh. But there was no sense in standing here. I gingerly reached for the door to Alice's house. When I reached the sweet dream room, I found the cute sleepwear that I had worn the night before at Kyle's house. Kyle brought it for me from his house. Maybe he used magic? Come to think of it, why would Kyle have sleepwear like this at his house? I suppose it's more natural to assume that Kyle retrieved it from Alice's house. Since this house was intended for Alice, no wonder the size fit perfectly. Now that that's settled, I changed into the sleepwear laid out for me and reclined on the clean and fluffy bed. It felt wonderful. But emotionally, I still felt weighed down. I kept thinking about Kyle, and even when I closed my eyes, I couldn't sleep. Just then, I heard a sound at the window. Huh? I sat up reflexively and noticed that there was a card affixed to the window that should have been locked. Just then, the card split open with a small explosion sound and a speck of light floated in the air. Next, there was a clicking sound and the window opened. What is it? What is going on? Hey, Alice, you're still up? Despite being taken by surprise, I recognized that voice. I furrowed my brows and responded. You're lucky I was awake, Joker. It's surely a crime and absolutely reprehensible to break into a girl's room through the window. But for a man to stoop so low as to do it when a girl is right at this very moment sleeping, I'd have to call him an utterly hopeless case. Haha, I see. You do have a point. The offense would be illegal entry in addition to assault, perhaps. The man who emerged from the window was definitely Joker. It was so like him to acknowledge his offense with nary an apology. I was worried about you. I heard you were spending time with the Cheshire Cat. What about it? I could hear the tension in my own voice. Joker arched one eyebrow in skepticism. I sensed you were a woman with backbone, but something must have transpired. What happened? Has being exposed to his venom sunk into you a state of despair? Let's see. I think either this one. No, it has nothing to do with Kyle's venom. I shook my head in denial without any hesitation. My being depressed has nothing to do with Kyle's personality, per se. Are you sure about that? I thought spending time with the Cheshire Cat would leave you broken. Well, I have no doubt that Kyle possesses a rather eccentric personality. But he does have some common sense, so it's not that hard to communicate normally with him, once you get the hang of it. I see. Joker grinned in amusement as he watched me babble incoherently. What? You've gotten to be pretty close to him, haven't you? His tone was questioning, and I found myself momentarily at a loss for words, because I sensed he might be right. At least Kyle and I had become much closer than when we first met. But Kyle told me a very big lie. Yeah, okay. Best choice. Yes. So, you still haven't regained your memory? No, but I overheard Kyle and Owen talking. Apparently, I came from a place called the real world, and I'm not supposed to leave Wonderland. But since I can't remember anything, I don't understand any of it. All this talk about Alice and their duties is all so confusing, and there was no one to explain it to me so that I could understand. I'm tired of not knowing anything. When I unburdened myself to Joker, he surprised me by nodding acutely. I see. I understand how you feel, Mitchie. Huh? I blinked in surprise at what he was telling me. There's nothing more insecure than not knowing anything about yourself. So, come with me, Alice. Let's go claim your lost memories. Joker held his hand out to me as he extended the invitation. I only hesitated for a moment. When I took his hand, my mind was made up. Joker brought me to that forbidden place. Here. Kyle told me not to come near this place. I'm not surprised. This is a very important place for Wonderland. Joker smiled as he pointed to the keyhole that emitted a soft light. If there is no reason for this place to be off limits, a lock like this wouldn't be needed, would it? I suppose. Do you think you can open it? No problem. If you truly wish to regain your memory, the lock will open easily. All right. I wanted to regain my lost memories. I'm tired of not knowing anything. I wished from the bottom of my heart, and then I reached out to touch the gate. That's when a light flashed so bright I was momentarily blinded. By the time I recovered, the lock was gone and the doors were open in welcome. I can see that you mean business. Yes, Let's go, Joker. I looked straight ahead as I stepped foot into the forbidden territory. Beyond the locked gate was Lake of Tear. A shining lake that reflected shimmering light and had ethereal beauty. This is the Lake of Tear. Supposedly, drinking water from the lake will help you regain your memory. If my memory returned, I might even discover the road home. At least I wouldn't continue to suffer from not remembering. I would also have a greater understanding of myself and my current predicament. Kyle's words involuntarily crossed my mind. Tell me, are you still intent on returning to the world you came from, Mitchie? Are you prepared to reclaim your past and face the future? At that time, I couldn't answer Kyle. Even so, I need to know. I can no longer tolerate not knowing anything. I cast aside my doubts and knelt down by the lake and scooped up some water in my cupped hands. The water was so cool and clear, and as soon as I took a sip, my vision started to sway. The entire world was distorted. Scenes which I saw somewhat filled the back of my mind vividly. It was like all my locked memories were overflowing. We're getting to the good part. I shouldn't know this place, yet it looked familiar. I know this city. I lived in this city. There was no such thing as magic. It was a world that was industrialized. There were no two-legged animals or humans with animal ears. I lived here with my parents. It was calm and peaceful, or it should have been. Is this me in the past? Father! Mother! Ah! No, that can't be true. Please, don't leave me. My memories were awakened by my crying and screaming. That's right. I lost my parents in a freak accident. The sudden loss left me despondent, and I was home alone, shedding unstoppable tears. In the depth of my despair, it was he who... I'm here to help you, Mitchie. A mysterious figure approached me. I am the Spinner of Tales. The man held a quill pen, and he hid his face behind a hood. He didn't seem to be of this world, but at the time, nothing mattered to me. I'll make it so you'll forget all your sorrows. You'll be the protagonist in a never-ending story, in a world where loss and despair do not exist. However, yes. I accepted the Spinner of Tales' invitation and took his outstretched hand. I just want to forget everything. And I let myself be drawn into the mirror. I followed the Spinner of Tales, throwing away all my memories and abandoned the real world. Yes. Now I remember. Hit with the unexpected truth, I tried to stand up, but my feet were unsteady. I couldn't face the tragic truth, so I escaped to Wonderland of my own volition. I let myself be drawn here by the Spinner of Tales. Mitchie. When did he get here? Kyle held me gently in his arms as my body staggered. Joker. Kyle calmly and quietly regarded Joker, but his usual easygoing smile was noticeably absent. Although he wasn't ranting, his disposition made it painfully clear by his expression and the permeating atmosphere. Kyle was absolutely furious. I had never seen Kyle even remotely angry. What are you so upset about, Cheshire Cat? Joker asked provokingly as he smiled and tilted his head. Kyle spoke slowly as he kept his cold stare glued to Joker. I am not angry at you. I'm angry at myself. Yourself?
Yes, that's right. I want to curse my helplessness. I am frustrated beyond all measure.
It almost sounded like he was spitting blood. I was distraught by the extent of the volatile emotions he displayed.
It never crossed my mind that she would find her way to the lake of tear. At least, not this soon.
Kyle pierced Joker with his glare. She probably would have remained oblivious if I hadn't brought her here. Kyle lowered his furious glare and released a shallow sigh as he rasped in a quiet voice. I might not have foreseen you, but the fault lies entirely with me. I shouldn't have let Mitchie out of my sight. No matter how much she objected, I should have stayed by her side.
Oh, this is great. And last one.
Seeing the look of deep regret etched on Kyle's face, Okay, this has to be it. It was my fault. I wasn't trying to defend anybody. I was just being honest. I wanted to remember, so Joker brought me here. It was as simple as that. He didn't do anything wrong.
Mitchie.
Of course, you aren't to blame either, Kyle. Even if you had been with me, you wouldn't have succeeded in quelling my desire to regain my memory. Either way, I would have ended up coming here, so if I'm suffering now from the pain of regaining my memory, I only have myself to blame. I spoke with purpose as I withstood the never-ending pain that gripped me. I can't deny you're a fool, Mitchie. Kyle regarded me with a dark expression. You lost your memory, and there was a valid reason for that. But you weren't afraid to find out the reason, and that led to more heartache. He seemed to be acknowledging my assertion, even as he chastised me for my recklessness. Instead of cowering in the face of an unknown future, you chose to stand on your own 2 feet. You made a rash and foolish decision that unknowingly reopened your painful past. You're absolutely right. The decision was all mine, so if anyone was to blame, it would be me. But Kyle's expression contorted in sorrow. But Mitchie, you couldn't have known that you were making the wrong decision. I was the one who knew, and I should have properly guided you. Because I'm the Cheshire Cat. Kyle. The excruciating pain in his voice struck a chord in me. I sensed the sincerity of his words. I was glaringly obvious that there was no lie about how Kyle truly felt. And Joker smiled rarely when he saw the lingering anger in Kyle's eyes. Preview. Boy, I never thought the Cheshire Cat would be so overprotective. Is it because she's Alice, or... No, forget I even said that. It's time for the preview. You'll have to excuse me. The Cheshire Cat followed Alice and is now obviously furious at me. But is it really the time to be pointing angry fingers? Alice is no doubt very vulnerable at the moment. Kyle. I was about to push him away out of reflex, but I noticed that something was odd and stopped. He was holding me so gently that I felt as if I could have easily escaped if I wanted to. It was completely different from any ordinary playful embrace. I'm so sorry, Mitchie. So, here's a quick quiz. What does she need most right now? The answer is simple. First of all, lots of rest, and a diversion, I'd say. What would help distract her? I'm sure we'll find out on the next page. Best choice. Yes. Alright. And time to go home. Alright, well, that was chapter 6, and I'm having fun with this. Well, the mystery is sort of solved. I found out who I am, but at the same time, who is this spinner of tales? This is getting good. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.